After 2.5 months of testimony and dozens of witnesses, we are finally expecting to receive a verdict in Donald Trump's New York civil fraud trial. The judge has already ruled that the former president inflated his net worth on financial documents in order to receive business benefits. Now, Trump could be hit with several $100 million in fines. He could also receive a ban from conducting any business in New York State. Joining us now here in Studio 57 is CBS News campaign reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman. Katrina, good to have you here. So what are we expecting from the judge's decision today?
As you just said, Trump could be fined hundreds of millions of dollars. They could put a lifetime ban on him in New York's real estate industry, bans on his sons, bans on his company. And this would also be rather uncommon for this law that they're using to prosecute him. It's very rare for victimless crimes to receive these type of punishments. So this could be a very, very big deal for Trump. He could lose his ability to do business in New York, which is really how he began.
Yeah.
And we also know that he is going to appeal this ruling. So today is not the end of things with this case.
Certainly.
Trump is going to appeal. He'll have to put down a substantial amount of money to do so as well.
Based off of the judgment from the judge,
based off of
not for his appeal necessarily.
Well, based off of the judgment, he'll have to put down a significant amount because, I mean, Letitia James has asked for $370 million. We don't know what Judge Engoron is actually going to rule. But in order to proceed with an appeal, he'll have to put down a portion of that amount of money at least.
And we've heard, you mentioned victimless crime. We heard that certainly from Trump's defense counsel a lot, that they felt like this is political prosecution. And in any other case, that wouldn't be something that would be pursued. But because his name is Donald Trump, that's what's happening. Is that likely to factor into the judge's decision at all, given that he's already determined that he's guilty of fraud?
I don't believe that's actually part of that statute. There doesn't have to be a victim. Also a victim, you could say, is the state. There is a lot of money lost because of what Donald Trump did with his business practices. And that's what Letitia James is asking for. It's called disgorgement, which means ill-gotten gains. So the state is trying to reclaim this money from him.
All right. Let's talk about another case, because the former president is not just focused on one legal case. Let's talk about the Supreme Court, because they are potentially going to make a decision about the immunity stay in Trump's January 6th case in Washington sometime soon. What more do we know?
So the justices do have a closed-door conference today. We don't know what they're actually talking about, but the stay is ready for a decision. Jack Smith had replied to Trump. Trump filed a final reply last night. And so now we're really waiting for the court to let us know if they're going to stay this ruling that Trump is not immune from prosecution, in which case that would keep the D.C. election interference case on hold, or they could even decide whether or not they want to take this case right now. So we would find out potentially even later today, possibly next week. It's hard to say. And we also have to remember there were arguments last week as well for the Colorado ballot disqualification case, which I feel like so much has happened since then that we've all almost forgotten about it. But they could be making a decision about that soon as well.
So we're waiting for both of those from the Supreme Court. We also have the Georgia election interference case that's going on, as well as several cases here in New York. A lot to keep track of. Katrina Kaufman, thank you for helping to do so for all of us.
Thanks for having me.